Hello everyone, it's Helen at Journaling Planet, and today I'm going to show you 5 no-sew ways of using plastic in your journal. Now, obviously, as somebody who is particularly interested in helping the environment, I am not a big fan of plastic. It's pretty horrible stuff, it's everywhere, and governments just don't seem to be interested in ceasing to use it. So I've tried to come up with some ways of reusing it in my journal. I have more than 5 ways, but to make sure that each video isn't too long, I'm just going to do 5 at a time. And the main challenges we have with working in our journals with plastic tend to be sticking it down. It doesn't respond to most glues unless you're going to use super glue. Making permanent marks on it, because a lot of the media we use would just slide right off. So I'm going to talk about how you can get over those obstacles without using a sewing machine. There are some very simple tools that you'll probably have in your craft room that will help you with this. And as we go through, I'll highlight any other challenges there are when working with plastic. So let's get started on the first idea. The first idea is faux laminating. So I actually do have a lamination machine from when I was a teacher years ago, and I have some leftover pockets, but it's been ages since I've actually pulled it out because I tend to use up the plastic that's right here and right now available to me. And I do faux lamination. And by that I mean I get a piece of hard plastic, like the kind of thing that would come if you had a pack of pens, or perhaps something came in a plastic box. And then I take parcel tape and I layer it over the top of whatever I'm faux laminating. So this, I wanted to protect it because I'm likely to flip through this journal a lot, and the photograph was likely to get dog-eared at the corners and, maybe just get damaged as I was doing that. So I decided to faux laminate it by using a plastic backing and then going over it with parcel tape. I am also able to write on the back and use it as a kind of journaling card by using a Sharpie. I've also got another permanent marker, but any permanent marker should do the trick. As soon as that ink is dry, you should be able to leave that and it won't smudge when you turn the pages. So I have faux laminated many different things, paper and photographs, yes, but also things like dried flowers. So there's lots of different things that you can use it for if you're looking to protect something in particular in your journal. So that's idea number 1. It is very straightforward. Lay down your plastic, lay down the thing you want to laminate, and then go over it with the packing tape. Idea number 2, another simple one, is to get some acrylic paints and create some swatches. Acrylic paint, it may scratch a little bit, but it won't run off. You can see here I've perhaps moved it a bit too soon before it's dry, so it will scratch, but it won't just run off the plastic. So if I'd been a little bit more careful about when I picked this up, it would have been a perfect swatch. As it is, it's actually worked out quite well because it helps me talk about another challenge of working with plastic with this media. So you do need to make sure that it's completely dry and set, and not be impatient like I am before picking it up and moving it. Even after that, if you rough it around a lot, it might scratch a little bit, but on the whole, it should be okay. Should be pretty permanent once it's down. And a nice swatch card makes a lovely addition to any page. But I hear you cry, Helen, how are we supposed to stick this in? Well, any kind of tape should do it. Scotch tape, masking tape. I'm pretty sure washi tape would work, although you may have to use glue on the page where you stick it, just so that it's got a bit more strength to it. But definitely Scotch tape, definitely sellotape, and masking tape. And you can hinge it in that way and add it to your page. So that's another idea. Lovely paint swatches that you can kind of use as flips in your page. Staying on the paint theme, this is a magazine image, and I have taped a piece of acetate over the top and painted on it with acrylic paints. And I could, if I wanted to, have gone mad with my acrylic pens as well and essentially altered the original image. Now, because I have lost my husband in the last year, I'm going through a little bit of a blue period in my painting. And so that's why I just chose as an example to do these little blue hearts. But you could do anything. And in fact, I have very big plans for this in my visual diary. This was just a simple example of how you can layer any piece of plastic. You know, like the kind of thing that comes on the back of clear acrylic stamps when you buy those. You can use that material, put it over a magazine image, tape it down, and then alter that image any way you want with acrylic paint. And I think that's a really creative idea. And because the backing is paper, you can glue it straight into your book, and then you'll have it as a flip. You'll be able to see the original, and you'll be able to see the altered image as well. So that is idea number 3. Idea number 4 is tags. Now, this one is sewn because originally I decided I was just going to have a go at making a plastic tag, and I didn't really know what I was going to do with it, and I decided to sew around the edges. And then afterwards I thought, you know, it's very difficult for people who don't have sewing machines to work with plastic, so I'll try making another one and see how that works out. So this was just cut from a box that contains some Christmas decorations. I stuck a sticker on it because, as we've already talked about, it's difficult to glue things to plastic. You could, however, do a bit of faux lamination, and you could have a nice, say, cut out from a book page and then faux laminate it to the tag and then cut around. And in terms of the border, this was just done with an acrylic pen, and you could actually just do it with a Sharpie as well. So any permanent marker, you could do a border like a sewing pattern with, and then it's just a matter of punching through it and adding the topper. So this is very straightforward, very easy to do. If you've got stickers, you're golden. And if you haven't, then you can cut things and then go over them with either parcel or sellotape to faux laminate them to the tag. So kind of a 2-in-1 of the ideas that I'm showing in this tutorial. Now, something like this will make a lovely addition to any journal page, really. But in particular, I thought it might make quite a nice hair flower for this lady here. And in fact, I like that quite a lot. So I am going to put it right there. Now, obviously, I could have taped that in and hinged it, but I just decided to have the pink paper clip as a little bit of contrast. And it just gives me freedom if I want to move it around at any point away from this pocket, because it is actually a pocket. So if I want to get into the pocket, it just gives me a bit more freedom to move it to a different place in the page. But I think that demonstrates how nicely a plastic tag can illustrate a page and add an extra layer to it. The last piece that I'd like to show you is essentially what I call a sample card. Now, this is some pottery that I collected from my local beach, but you could sample anything. You could sample a paper doll that you've made. You could just sample a piece of paper that you like, beads, buttons, just anything that you really, really like. And this is one of those flimsy plastic bags that you often get things packaged in. And all I've done in this instance is I have typed a little something up on my typewriter. You could just use pen, just handwrite it, about the pottery, about where I found it. I've drawn the lighthouse near where I live, very badly it might be added, like a child, but I don't mind. I like the childish charm to it. And then I've put that part in first, the little piece of paper, and then I've added the sea pottery in. And my idea was that it kind of looked like the sea pottery was like lying near the lighthouse in the bag. So it's kind of like it was lying near the lighthouse on the beach. So it kind of mirrors that. All I've done is staple this bag to a piece of file folder, 2 staples at the top, and then I've just labelled it sea pottery and a bit of inking around. But this makes such a lovely feature on a page, and again can be glued in because the backing is cardboard, so our normal glues will work on it. All the adhesive with the plastic is done with the staplers. So in terms of the different kinds of plastics used, you've got flimsy bag, you've got boxes containing objects that come to your house. This piece of acrylic I picked up in a thrift store, a big box of it, and I knew it was just going to go to waste if I didn't pick it up, so I did. but it's the same kind of material that you get on the back of stamps and other such things that you receive that's got plastic packing. So any thin plastic. This is actually off the back of a spiral bound notebook, that thicker plastic that you get on that. So it's quite sturdy. And then the faux lamination was actually done using plastic from a box of pens that I got. So the backing is like that thinner plastic that you get when you buy a craft item, and it comes in a kind of flimsy plastic box, and then it's just parcel tape over the top. So it's quite a few different kinds of plastics, and you can mix up the different plastics. For example, you could do a swatch on a very flimsy plastic bag. You could take a tag and actually make it from harder material, like this one. You don't have to stick with the same plastics I have, just because that's how I've demonstrated it. But I think this shows that there are many ways we can use plastics in our journal, as long as we've got the right materials. A stapler is your friend, tape is your friend, and acrylic markers are your friend, or any kind of permanent pen. I hope that this tutorial has been useful. I really want to see more reuse of plastic in our society. I would really prefer it if we didn't keep making more and more of it. So if you have any ideas about how we can reuse plastic, please put them in the comment box below. Perhaps it's an artistic reuse of plastic, or perhaps it's actually something that you just do in your everyday life that's really clever and nobody else has thought of. If you've got something like that, please share it with us, because I really think it's important that we do all we can not to let plastic go to waste. Thank you so much for watching this far. If you haven't already liked and subscribed, I would really appreciate it if you did. It helps this video reach more people. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.